Oh, there we go. One more full breath here. Maybe it's a sigh it out. And inhale, lengthen tall. Keep the lift, release the breath. And we'll own 3 times. Inhale. Oh. 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 Releasing your hands, lifting your chin, and opening your eyes. Okay, so we'll set up for our first pose. I have my socks on. The heating pads are coming in too. So, okay, so I'm going to have the bolster here. This is going to be for your head. And if you want to switch and put the bolster for your knees and a blanket for your head, you don't need to do that. And the 2 blocks are going to be for the shoulder blades. Let's see, is that this thing? I'm going to go lengthwise this way. And you can always try the opposite way, just as long as we're supporting the shoulder blades. And then a blanket down for your hips. So I have that blanket here. Smooth it out, nice. Okay, then I'm going to bring this big pillow in, or anything you have, just to support the knees. And the other day I was talking about the eye, the eyes, we have our eyes of the chest, and the eyes of the legs are at the back of the knees. And if the back of the knees are supported and comfortable, then we'll encourage the eyes of the chest to relax, all deeply connected. Okay, I have another blanket I used to cover. You're also welcome. We've been supporting the heels. If you want to put something else there for your heels, that's fine as well. And then it's going to look like this. The eyes of the knees resting. The box supporting the chest feels very nice. The bolster should feel, the support for the head. So the head maybe might be dropping back a little bit. And then the arms are going to come out. And if you have some, front of the shoulder stuff and you want to support the arms a little bit, then you just grab other pillows or blankets to put under your arms and create, I hear my voice start to, everything starts to drop in. So let's go. Oh, sandbag, friends, I know not everybody has one, but if you have one, I'm going to put it on the thighs. Also nice on the chest. Oh, put it right on the chest, and that is nice. I think I'm going to leave it there. Okay. So I'm just going to let you settle. So we're going to add a little bit of movement in before we completely drop in. And that movement is going to be with the shoulders. And just once you're settled, you might just, keep everything as it is. You're just lifting the shoulders and moving them in some way. So maybe it feels like a rolling forward and back. And if the arms lift up, that's fine, but they might stay on the floor. So just moving the shoulders, tops of the shoulders. And for fun, I'll just do one at a time, alternating this very small movement. Shoulders just moving forward and back. You can start to Slow that movement down. So still alternating. Noticing any cracking sounds, and that's good stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to move them together a few times. When you feel like you can make a full circle in each direction. Okay, I'm going to pick the arms up off the floor and just turn the hands all the way one way, all the way the other way. The full arm is rotating, and the shoulders are also freely moving. The jaw is dropping. And the breath is relaxing. Okay. And then we'll keep the arms lifted, and we'll just start to roll the wrists and the fingers. If you want to bend your elbows, you can do that. You move your arms down or up or anywhere. If you want to dance a little bit, the arms. Lovely. Anything you're doing is good. Just notice if you're holding any tension in the legs or the belly as you do this. And let that go. Good. Okay, I'm just going to have the arms extended out from the shoulders, still lifted a little bit off the floor. Palms are facing down. I'm going to flex the wrists, so the fingers are going to go up to the sky. But spread your fingers, open your palms. Extend from the shoulders to the wrists if you can. Smile. And then relax your arms any way you like. Just drop them down. And feel that energy. Maybe even a relaxing more deeply into the props. And we'll do a similar thing with the legs. I'm just going to start to flex the feet, gauge the leg muscles. Yes, flex your feet as much as you can here, softening the belly, the heart, the jaw soft, and then point your feet as much as you can, and just hold that point idea. Some of you might get a foot cramp and do what you got to do to release it. Or good. And then we'll just flow in the point and the flex a few times. Feel your toes moving. Do this almost like maybe they're deeply involved in the pointing and the flexing. And then slow it down so it starts to match your breath. And maybe there's that. Once you hit the peak of the foot movement, you pause there and finish the inhalation or exhalation. And then we'll start to roll the ankles any direction. The feet could be moving opposite or same direction. Soften your eyes, inner eyes, your belly, your heart, your shoulders. And let this just be the ankles rotating. Maybe the legs are moving. And reverse whatever you're doing. Okay, and then let the legs completely relax. And once you settle into this shape, feeling this lift of the chest, and maybe the tops of the shoulders are descending slightly. And guiding your awareness down the length of your spine so you feel that little arch or lift of the back, low back, mid back. And then the tush settling on the floor. Base of the spine. Following awareness from the hip flexors. So where thighs meet pelvis. Following your awareness down the length of your thighs to your knees, to the backs of your knees, supported and rested. Feeling that angle, allowing the hip flexors to soften. Connection of leg to hip. to stay with our awareness here at the hip flexors. And now bringing your attention to the inner massaging of the breath. The inner bathing. And the inner releasing. Noticing all the senses of the face, the ears, the eyes, the mouth, the nose. As if you could take all of these places like fingers, your 2 ears, your 2 eyes, and the thumb maybe into the imagining the mouth cavity and the nose just resting at the palm, and you're just drawing everything deeply inwards. If all the fingertips are coming together, all the senses are drawing together and drawing inwards. Without hardening, you're softening. And in the softening, we are open to receive. We are open to release. With all of your powers, your sensory powers, you are deeply in tune to the softening, to the opening, to the invitation, consciously resting. Staying in this state of softening, guiding your awareness to the eyes of the knees, backs of the knees. Inviting this space to really drop into its support. With all the softening of the knees, backs of the knees, it's almost like it's opening. Use your imagination to imagine these, the opening of the eyes, backs of the knees, the opening and softening. Maybe that inner gaze of the knees can travel from the knees, fronts of the thighs to the hip flexors. Connecting the softening of the inner knees, backs of your knees to the hip flexors. Maybe there's a connection in the softening of the belly. Take the arms and we'll just rest them overhead. And they might be straight out, resting on the bolster, or you might grab your elbows or your forearms very lightly, just resting somewhere here. You're not gripping. Opening the breath, the sides of the ribs. Bringing yourself into this deep state of rest. You need to change anything, bring in movement, go ahead and do that at any time, and then just bring yourself back here. And softening and receiving. Maybe a long time since you've held a newborn babe. You can imagine or remember, when a baby wakes up and you pick it up, the first thing it does is take its little arms back, its shoulders back, stick its little butt out, maybe pull the knees in. So it has this beautiful arch in the back. It lifts its heart and sends the hips back. And embodying this shape slightly here, this natural shape you innately do from birth. Lifting of the heart, backward movement of the hips, the flexors, space to relax. So we're going to prepare to come out of this really slowly and just stay as you are, as I explained it. So we're going to come out. You're going to find a way to remove the blocks without disturbing your body too much. So that when you do come to lie down, your head could be on the floor, chest on the floor. If you need to keep the bolster behind your head, you'll do that. So begin by stretching, moving the hands and the feet, and like a baby waking up. See if you can find this arch in the low back, maybe by anchoring sit bones or tops of thighs towards the floor, feeling the chest lifted. You might want to bend the knees, rest the feet on support or the floor. You might stay there for a few moments and bring your arms down. Offer a little windshield wiper along root. So I'm still on the blocks, just going to rock the knees side to side. I'm still on the blocks. I'm going to hug the knees, and if that's accessible for you, you might enjoy that little bit of extra something. Okay, you take the feet back to the floor. Find a way to maybe just sneak the blocks out. And then the bolster, if you like it, you keep it. Just take it out. Spend some time here. You can stretch your legs back out or keep them bent. Everything now linear in whatever way. Even if you have a support under your hand, and you're just inviting in this deep rest. But even imagine or feel that you're releasing into your own energetic space. Staying here, and I'll just tell you what our next pose is. You might be able to do it without even coming up. And I'm going to move the prop out from under the feet, so the feet are going to come to the floor. We'll have a support under the hips, so that could be what you have under your knees, could be your bolster, could be a block. Then we're going to take basic resting pose, so maybe without even moving, lift your hips and place something underneath your sacrum. So I'm just using this big pillow. Use whatever you like. And then we'll take the feet as wide as the sticky mat, pigeon toe the feet slightly. So you feel the whole foot on the floor. And then we'll bring the knees together. And so here we're encouraging an inner turn of the hip flexors. The outer hips might feel a little stretch, the inner thighs. And then once you know it, you could play with how far away the feet are. That might feel better walking them in or walking them out. All right, so now we're here. Hopefully you're here. And I'm just going to start rolling the pelvis a little bit here. So arching the back and then pressing the back to the floor, almost like this pelvic tilting action a few times. Just to welcome the hips and the pelvis, the hip flexors to this shape. And knowing if you want to throw in some windshield wipers here, it's always a nice thing to do. You can do that. Knowing we're going to settle into this basic resting pose for about 5 minutes. And take your time to come into it to a place where you can deeply, deeply release. This withdrawing of the inner senses into your inner body, your inner world. An opportunity to check in. Okay. So we did this little bit of, rocking of the hips. I feel like I'm going to bring that into the shoulders. So everything is relaxed here. I'm just going to roll the shoulders like we were doing before, just forward and back a few times. Maybe one at a time, a few times. And then release into this. And your deepest state of rest. So I don't have anything under the head. If you need that, you're going to put that in. Drawing the chin in. So you might lift your head and lengthening the back of your neck while you were massaging. And you make that longer and stronger. And then, take that. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm just going to move the sandbag right down to the tops of the hips and by the hip flexors. Easily. If you're feeling any discomfort or anything unwinding, releasing, keeping the face, sensitive of the face soft. And awareness on those places of discomfort or anything that's arising. Bathe that part with your breath, with your awareness. Where attention goes, energy flows. With all that good energy you've surrounded yourself with, that you are breathing in. Softening, releasing, and receiving. Beware of the back of your head, the back of your heart. lower than your hips. Invite all of that to drop in and rest deeply. Carry them out by removing your sandbag. And sliding that prop out from underneath you. Just taking it off to the side. And stretching your legs out and pausing here for a few minutes. Stay as you are. Bring the right knee into your chest and just massage by drawing it in and out a little bit. If you need to bend your left leg, you're going to do that. We're going to rest in this shape for about 30, maybe 30 seconds. I was going to say about 30 minutes. 30 seconds to a minute. You make it so you can rest. So move your hands anywhere they need to go. And once you're in it, you draw your awareness to your right hip. It can be hip flexor, outer hip, anywhere there. Let the jaw go as much as you can. Soften your eyes. And softening that hip. And then you might notice your right leg wants to drop out to the side. That helps with the softening. Let it be. Notice if your breath has achieved almost like an evenness. You inhale and exhale. Take 2 or 3 more breaths here. Don't rush them. You release the leg. You might want to take your arms over your head. Anything works. We're just going to rest. And feel, and enjoy, and bathe, and bask in all that is yours. Good release of energy. Bring that left knee in, change the interlace of your fingers and rock it a little bit to start. Falling into this love that. Falling into this, like the jaw fall, the hip fall. Maybe the leg wants to fall a little bit to the left. Softening as much as you can the whole left hip. There you go. And place your grip in that left hip area. Might even be in the belly. You are the explorer. Moving into your final 2 or 3 breaths. Bathing yourself with each one. And again, releasing maybe arms overhead or out to the side, wherever would feel good. And just before we bring the props back in, really feel this whole connection of the back of the body. So if you have the head on the floor, back of the skull, there's a little gentle lift in the neck, back of the heart. Little gentle lift in the back, low back, mid back. Feeling the hips settled on the floor. The length of your legs. And the backs of the knees. Nothing there. Just imagine them softening. Okay, so I'm going to bring the knees into the chest and just hug them both in, rock side to side, gentle rocking. You can stay here, or maybe you want to move to happy baby, just moving the low back and lift it up a little bit, just the mid back and rock here a little bit. That feels okay. Soft jaw, soft eyes. All these things we bring in, those little things we did naturally as babies. The fountain of youth there. Okay, release the feet, and we'll roll over to the side. Take 1 or 2 breaths here, flushing. Come up and set up for our final pose. And I want to give this not rushing. When you come up to sitting, take a moment. I just so excited for the next, but that's where the pausing and the basking slows you down. Take my own advice for the moment. Okay. So we're going to do a choose your own adventure for the final pose. So that could be legs up the wall, and knowing we have 15 minutes, and maybe a little more. We'll see what happens. So if you started legs up the wall, you want to change, you can do that. The other option I'm going to give you is what we've been starting with in the last few classes, is a supported bridge pose, supported Satuvana investment. Get those same twist. You know what I'm talking about with a little baby. When you pick them up and they do this, butt back, heart up, and they just naturally do that. Just mimicking, that. So this. I would put something for underneath the knees again. If you're going to come into this, this is lovely. This is almost like little baby that. Okay, and you can put blocks underneath your bolster if you prefer it slow. And then I'm going to move into a legs up the wall. And I'm also going to have the bolster a little bit away from the wall. I'm going to put the bolster in. So many options, but I'm going to do this with the bolster. Or I can't for just nearby if I need it. Okay. This is interesting. And it's the same idea. It's just get those hips a little forward, a little dropping. Dropping, the head supported. This could be a lot if you haven't done anything new to stretch the legs. So make it nice for yourself. Really, this is our final pose, and we're going to rest here for, like I said, probably 15, maybe a little more. We're going to go a little bit over today. You have a sound bag, throw it in somewhere. It's just a nice, that grounding weight. For days when you feel a little anxious or nervous, and it's naturally part of being a human being. We have days like that, hopefully less and more, but a sandbag can be a very nice option. Like these weighted blankets they're selling now. Just finding your way in. You need to move or shift to that. Joy. you are. Inviting yourself to drop in deeply. You'd like to shift from your resting. Just doing that. Swing as you are from. If you're in legs up the wall, then just now make your way out and come to lie down for a few moments while you're postures or anything. Just taking a few moments to lie. You are lying down. Continue to rest as you are. And a few breaths. Inviting in that heaviness and that softness. all the senses of your face, your sense of touch everywhere, inner touch. Melting and releasing. Dissolving with your powers of awareness, your presence, and your breath. Dissolving any resistance. So you're very welcome to continue to rest as you are. You are going to come out, beginning the journey now. Let it be very slow and thoughtful and sensational. Be very aware of how each movement feels and nourishing yourself as you awaken. Surrounding yourself. Oh, as I come to sit, I can feel, take my hand, I can feel the energies pushing them out. It's so expansive and present. Light. It's basking in the glow, the afterglow of your practice, your presence. As you're ready, friends, bring the hands to the heart or in front of the heart. If you're resting your hands on your heart, maybe just switch so you have the opposite. As you inhale, lift your heart, and as you exhale, bow your chin, honoring all that you are. Self-love, not to be, should be highly regarded. Not everybody does it, so it's a great gift. And into all of this, we'll chant one Om, inhale. Om. Breathe into your hands. Shanti Om, peace. Peace within, peace without. Then offer this to yourself, this great offering. Your own goodness. It's your own good energy and all of that. And just take all of yours and bring it in. Great gratitude for your presence, your practice, and who you are in this world. Great love. Enjoy this precious day, friends. See you soon. Thank you.